Hi there, this is Steve Gamache and welcome to episode number 5 in my series on how to improve your social media videos. Today we're going to talk about composition, and you can do some simple things to very effectively improve the composition of your videos and make it more pleasing to the viewer. They might not know why it looks better, but it just looks better. So we're going to show you some tips on that. One of those is where you are in the frame. We generally, in photography and professional videography, we want to try to put the focus of our photo or picture into maybe a third of the frame rather than right in the middle. So if you take your frame and divide it up into 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines a third of the way across each way, you'll have 4 points of interest on those corners. And those are where you want to try to put the focus of your interest, which with a person would be their face and their eyes would be in that particular area. If I move center, it's not a very dynamic composition. Plus, if I want to put some titling on one of the sides, I don't have room for that. If I move off to the side a little bit, then I've got some room for some titling and such over here that I can do that. Or you can go the opposite way. For me, I think I look better going this way versus this way just because of the way my face is laid out. But whichever way you decide. Also, try to keep your background simple. We don't want necessarily you really close to the background, so try to move away from the background a little bit if possible, rather than be right up against it, whether it's a bookcase or plants or whatever it is. Sometimes those can be rather distracting. So if you've got a camera like I do and you can move the camera around, pick a location where you think you've got some decent lighting, or you can get an auxiliary lighting device like I have with a nice inexpensive softbox here. I'll explain that in future episodes. And you can take it portable anywhere in your house that you want to go or on the road. In this particular case, I'm in a spare bedroom in my office, and I've got a little bit of background behind me and the items behind me. I'm still working on how I'm going to lay this out, but I'll probably end up taking that picture down behind me when I do the videography because it presents a nicer, more plain background. So think about the elements in your frame. Also, practice with how far you zoom your camera in and out. A lot of cameras, even webcams, you can zoom them in, you can zoom them out. If you zoom them out, you'll get more of the room background. If you zoom in, you'll get less of that, and you can be a little more prominent in the frame. You can also change your position. If I move closer and back the camera out a little bit, I'm going to do this live here. So if I back the camera out a little bit, take that window out of there, and if I move closer, you can see the relative background items become more prominent. If I back up, I'm much smaller in the frame. You want to try to fill yourself in the frame because you're the focus of the video in this case, not the objects in the room. So if I move up a little bit even here, you can see that looks a little bit better. If I zoom in a little bit, and that just depends on how far you can zoom, you might be able to eliminate some things in the room that are really not adding to the interest of what you're trying to show in the video. So composition-wise, try to keep yourself off-center. Sometimes that's not always the best case, but for most purposes, keep the subject of interest off-center a little bit. You've got some room for some titling. Maybe think about what you can put in the background to display items in your business. I've got a light in the background. Maybe I could put a camera back there on a stand, or if your business is a particular type of thing, like nutrition, maybe you might put a display of some of the items you work with. So try to think about an interesting background, almost like a set, if you will, that you might be able to put up quickly to easily, put up a nice, interesting background for your video projects. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about a lot more interesting things. To get in on the fun, go to sgphotography.com or check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/SteveGPhotography. And we'll see you next time.